objectives, etc. Feel free to jump in with questions anytime, but again, we are trying to keep time for everything because we do need to end right at 6. So yeah, feel free to ask questions, but maybe if you have anything that's real long-winded or stuff, we can try to get to that later in the week perhaps and talk more at length at that time. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. Yeah, like Sammy said too, we'd like to leave a little bit of time for Q&A too if you have questions. This is an interesting process. So your last semester here, you get to write a paper or work on a project depending on the nature of the particular capstone class you're taking. And we offer different capstone classes throughout the year. And we'll talk about, you'll hear from the 3 instructors about their 4 classes in just minutes. I'm not hiding behind the screen. I don't have a clicker. And so the idea from a curricular perspective is that the assignment allows you to integrate across the core curriculum that you've taken and some of the electives that you've taken in the program and apply the material to a particular either client project or to an independent paper that you get to write on your own. And so it's an opportunity to document the skills that you've learned in the program and really tailor the program a little bit to your own interests and needs. And so it's the exit requirement for the master's programs too. So for it's not really a thesis. At Ohio State, some of the programs have a thesis requirement where you have a thesis committee. This is a paper that you write or a project that you work on. And one of the basic requirements is that you get at least a B in the class for it to count as a capstone class. And unlike other classes, you can take it an incomplete, but incomplete would mean that you haven't satisfied the capstone requirements, even if you were to get an A in the class after the incomplete. So you really need to complete it on time. One of the things to remember, particularly those of you who are going to be taking Professor Yee's classes, writing an independent paper, one semester is a really short period of time. So for the other 2 capstones, when you're working on projects, both of those exercises, whether it's working as a team or working on tight deadlines, the goals are sort of to prepare you for the workforce. And so we understand that it's a short timeline, but you're going to be working on short timelines for the rest of your careers. Another component of the capstone is the midterm assessment. For the MA students among you, the midterm assessment satisfies the graduate school's requirements that MA students have an exam. So we've replaced the exam, and it is sort of a progress grade throughout the semester, depending on which class you take. The actual form of that midterm assessment will be a little bit different, but in all the classes, they still fulfill some of the same requirements. They ask you to have an understanding of your topic, the literature, of particular methods that you'll be using, and to think through some of the alternatives that you'll be examining. And that particular midterm assessment, so all of the students, MA, MPA students take this. It's a logistically challenging course for all of us. So all of you will do this midterm assessment, and only the MA students have this kind of pass-fail component of it. And you'll have a committee that kind of gives you thumbs up or thumbs down, but your instructor will be the person who gives you the letter grade. So it's sort of 2 different assessments. So be assured that your particular instructor will give the letter grade, but it's the committee that gives the thumbs up or thumbs down. Additional resources, we have a nice little website that has information about all the details that are general to capstones, the videos that we're creating tonight. You can go back and watch them again at your leisure. And also a pitch for one of our skills classes that we'll be offering during the second 7-week session that starts in a couple of weeks this semester, the Conveying Quantitative Data class. When we've done surveys of capstone students in the past, they've mentioned that this is one of the classes that best prepared them to do a capstone. And have any of you taken that class before? I guess you can't concur whether it's prepared you for the capstone, but you should benefit by having taken that because one of the goals of the capstone class is to be able to convey your information, both in a written product and in an oral product. One of the other requirements of the class is to do a presentation, and part of doing the written presentation is displaying your data in a usable way to decision makers. All right, so I'm going to sit down in a second, so you'll get to hear from our four instructors. Sammy will talk a little bit about the process for signing up for the class. If you want to.
Yeah, sure, I'll jump in. So I think I emailed you guys about this briefly, but I'll be sending out a much more robust email tomorrow to all of the master's students, just so everyone has the info. But starting last year, we implemented a preference survey process to enroll students in the Capstones. And this was in part because MPA students, you all take more credit hours, and so your registration windows open up earlier than the MA students. The MA students' windows would open up later in the kind of week where those windows open up, and historically MPA students would just fill up all the Capstones, and then the MAs would really just be on the wait list, and we had just not, it wasn't a very equitable process for managing the wait list, depending on interest, et cetera, et cetera. So last year we implemented this preference survey. It allows you to really take some time, hopefully either come to this session or watch the videos, figure out which capstone is going to be your number one choice. If you've got a couple, that's awesome. If there's just one that you're willing to do and you will never do any of the other ones, period, that's fine. So the survey kind of gives us a process to gauge that, and then we'll kind of look at those. Hopefully it'll just be really nice like it was last year, and everyone will get their top choice. But we'll see what happens, knock on wood. So again, I'm going to send out an email tomorrow with all of those details, but basically the quick rundown is that the survey will open next Monday, the 30th. I'll send out an email then and say, hey, the survey's open. It'll stay open until 2 Fridays later, so you'll have 2 full weeks to kind of get all the info you need, work on the survey. In that survey, you'll rank the 4 capstones, your top choice, second choice, third choice, and fourth choice. You'll rank those choices. You'll also have the opportunity to indicate strength of choice. So again, if you've got one that you're 100% you want to do, and the rest, 0, you wouldn't participate, you can rank them as such. If you've got 2, kind of like maybe 100% for this one, maybe 90% for this one, I can do either. And then 2 others that you really wouldn't want to do, you can indicate that as well. So it's pretty straightforward, but it involves a little bit of thought on your part. There's also the opportunity for comments in that form, so you can say, I'm an MA student and I work really long hours and I'm literally only free for this capstone, things like that. Or I'm a dual degree student and this one really, meets my interest the best. So again, you'll have the chance to do that. Again, I'm sending this out to all the students, so including you here today and everybody else, you'll get all of the same information. It does involve checking your OSU email, so yeah, it does involve completing the survey. The only reason someone wouldn't get one of their top 1 or 2 choices would be if they just didn't do the survey. So again, fill out the survey, put those dates on your calendar. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, I'm not going to get too in detail today, so I'll send out all the details on the timeline tomorrow. Any questions about that process? I can't guarantee your first choice, but last year we had 83% of students in their first choice, and the other 17% of students were in a second choice that they indicated another strong preference for. So I thought that was pretty good. Try to do better this year, but again, it's the most equitable process we've found so far, and it seemed to work pretty well. So yeah, so we'll be doing that again. Again, more info out tomorrow. Feel free to reach out to me directly if you have questions about the preferencing process, the survey, any of that. And then feel free to reach out to the instructors if you have questions about the capstone, if you don't get all the detail you want today, or if you just kind of are thinking over the next few days about which one you would want to pursue in the spring. If you have more questions, they'll be here to answer those for you. All right, great.
The other thing I'll mention is that on that capstone page that the URL was linked to previously, there's a PDF document, and at the very bottom of the document, there is a link to previous capstones. So all of next spring's instructors have taught capstones before, so if you want to see examples of student products to get a sense of what does a completed capstone paper look like, you can see those. It's in a box account that we've set up.
Yeah, and I can also help you access that if for any reason you can't find it, just shoot me an email. One other asterisk, we're hoping to have these videos posted on the website by tomorrow, like I said. Worst case, our communication instructor is out this week, so I may be just emailing you the videos. So just keep an eye out, we'll do what we can, but we'll get those out to the broader group in whatever format we can. And again, just let me know if you have questions about the process or the information. Let the instructors know if you have questions about the class content.
All right, so we have a choice of 4 different classes, for next semester. And in addition to you choosing, kind of rank ordering your choices, each of the instructors may have some of their own requirements for what they want to see for a student to successfully enroll in the class. So they may have some different processes, even beyond that, that rank ordering. So they can talk a little bit about that because they want you to be successful in the class. Like I mentioned before, a semester is a short period of time and it's kind of a sprint, so you need to be ready to go on day one in the classes. So for those of you who are interested in writing a research paper, you'll have two options, and those of you who are more interested in doing a consulting type of project and working on a team, you've got two options. So spring is a great time to take Capstone because you have more options. So Professor Yi will first off talk about his two classes. This is the first time we're doing this. You may, so take a step back. I said you can take a look at previous year's papers. You'll go back and look, and you won't see papers like the students will be writing in 7910 and 7940 for Professor Yi. What you'll see is the class 7900, because that's the independent paper Capstone. So what we're doing this semester is we're splitting that up. Same instructor, but we're splitting this into policy and management. And I'll turn it over to Professor Yi, who will talk a little bit about his two classes.
Yes, Dana?
Yeah.
Okay.